I'd like to call this Monday, March 18th, Midstate Technical College District Board of Directors to order. Roll call, Angie, please.
Betty Brusky Malik.
Here.
Richard Murden.
Here.
Gordon Shallow. Charles Spargo.
Here.
Ari Vang.
Here.
Terry Whitmore.
Here.
Ryan Zietlow.
Here. Open meeting certification, this March 18th, 2024 meeting of the Midstate Technical College District Board of Directors and all other meetings of the board and/or its committees is open to the public in compliance with state statutes. Notice of this meeting has been sent to news media and designated persons in an attempt to make the citizens of the Midstate Technical College District aware of the place, time, and agenda of the meeting. Open forum. The open forum is at the option of the board chairperson, and ground rules have been established to ensure the orderly conduct of business. This is a meeting of the district board, open to the public, and not a public hearing. Persons who wish to address the district board may make a statement as long as it pertains to a specific agenda item. Individuals should not expect to engage in discussion with the members of the district board. The district board chairperson may or may not respond to statements made. Do we have anybody here for any public comments? We do not. Okay, taking a look at the February 19th board meeting minutes, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes are approved. Action on the consent agenda item. We have payment of bills and payroll. We have contracted service agreements, and we have procurement for goods and services.
The Finance and Infrastructure Committee reviewed these and had no concerns on them, so I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none.
Roll call.
Roll call, please, Angie.
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Ari Vang.
Yes.
Terry Whitmore.
Yes.
Ryan Zietlow.
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik.
Yes.
Richard Murden.
Yes. Chairperson's report. Thank you for joining us this evening. Gordy asked to be excused. This coming weekend is the Spring Boards Association meeting in Rhinelander, and Ryan and Betty will be attending. Midstate graduation ceremony is coming up Saturday, May 11th. Betty, Chuck, Ryan, and I plan to attend. A board speaker is requested. So is anybody would like to do that?
Talking about the graduation?
Yes, graduation speech?
I can.
Chuck, all right, we got Chuck for the speech. ACCT Leadership Congress is in October in Seattle this year. Anyone interested in attending should contact
I am.
Angie here too. Make proper arrangements. My uncle had a tattoo shop on Pike Street or whatever, Pike Place. Board advance, if you haven't responded to Angie yet, please do so. She gave us a plethora of options, so hopefully some of those would work for an advance. And the next meeting will be Monday, April 15th. Why does that ring a bell?
Taxes.
Come on, I know, it's being facetious. We'll be meeting at the Wisconsin Rapids campus again. Committee of the whole will begin at 5 with the regular meeting to follow.
Rick, I have a question.
Yes.
The special budget meeting is also that same day. What time does that start?
I do not know.
Scheduled to begin at 3 o'clock, so before the meetings,
Okay,
before the committee meeting.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Foundation report. Betty and Mickey, or Karen and Mickey.
Mickey's here.
Mickey and Karen first, and then Betty can chime in.
Now, your office is upstairs now? Is it?
Oh,
grants.
I've always been upstairs, but the Nikki is downstairs in the foundation office.
Oh, okay.
I'm
All right.
upstairs.
Upstairs and downstairs.
And I go back and forth.
Wasn't that a PBS show or something upstairs?
She's in that dual role where she's still the grants person,
Oh,
where the
okay.
grants is upstairs and then the foundation is downstairs. So yep, she's working between the two.
All right.
A lot of good stairs during the
Okay.
day.
So we just wanted to come tonight and give you an update on the foundation, which is we do quarterly. Last month, I presented some information on the employee giving campaign, where we had our disco bingo and our groovy giving. But we were halfway through, so we weren't finalized yet. So I'm happy to bring the final numbers to you tonight. Last year, we did just over 23,000 in employee giving, and this year, we did 25,622.96. So a bit of an increase. I think we're going to always focus more on individual asks and just spreading the word more about what the foundation is, because I think we can get more of our employees supporting our students through scholarships. So we did have some fun this year. Disco bingo made $413. The parking auction made $625. About a third of that is me.
You paid a little less this year because you also did United Way.
Yes, I also did United Way. I got ahead to the 2 to get the entire year, which I was successful this year. And then we had a disco costume. You could pay to vote for your favorite disco costume, and we raised $224. People voting on their favorite disco costume.
And the winner was?
The winner was,
Disco Ducker.
remember Disco Duck?
Yes, yes.
Disco Duck. Well, the winner was Carrie Duckert.
Oh,
So
okay.
we call him Disco Duck. Yeah, Disco Duck. And then just for the employees from giving through their payroll deductions, was a little over $24,000. So obviously, we raised the most doing that, and I think that's where our opportunity lies as well.
Yeah, and this was the first time Nikki and I went through the employee giving campaign from start to finish. So we're kind of doing, after we do each event, we try and analyze and go, okay, what would we like to do next year? What do we think we can do different to increase engagement with our students and the student scholarship program? So we have some ideas and we'll bring them to our foundation board, so.
Do you want to talk about the 45th?
Yeah, so this year we're talking a lot about groovy things. So groovy giving was our theme. And there's a reason why we're going around that kind of theme, is because the foundation board is celebrating its 45th anniversary this year.
Groovy.
Yeah, it was very groovy. So I thought it was very exciting. The first board meeting for the foundation was held on April 23rd, 1979. So our next board meeting is actually April 24th, 2024. So almost 45 years to the date. So we will be having an anniversary celebration in Stevens Point after our board meeting. We're going to have it from 4 to 6 at the Lead Center, and you'll all be invited. So I hope you can make it. It's going to be a wonderful event celebrating 45 years of the foundation. I don't know if anyone knows this. Do you know how the foundation was started? Pop quiz time. Anyone know how it was started? Oh, Betty. Well, you know Betty. She's on our foundation board, so she should know.
Selling buttons.
Selling buttons. So there was a button sale that raised just under $1,000, and that actually started the foundation 45 years ago. So we will be selling buttons this year, starting at that event, to hopefully raise some more money for scholarships. There'll be a kind of 45-year event, and then we just really want to celebrate with all of you. So hope you can make it.
What was the date again?
It is going to be April 24th in Stevens Point at the Lead Center. We've already reached out to the person who drafted our Articles of Incorporation, is still an emeritus member of our board. So we're reaching out to him. Hopefully he will come and tell us about the day that they had that first board meeting. So
And
he's
who's
still Guy Detlitson. Did I say that right?
Yeah, okay.
Detlitson? Yeah. So, yeah, he actually drafted the Articles of Incorporation. There were 3 members of the board that started it. So we're very excited. And then, yeah, going on with a groovy giving and groovy golf. So our golf theme this year is going to be groovy golf. And so we're really having a lot of fun with that theme, I'll be honest. We're really steering into it. Last year, we really went around that summer fun theme, kind of added a little bit of extra excitement to the day. This one's going to add a lot, too. So we're going to be at the Ridges on June 12th. So we're going to try a new venue. We've been at Bullseye for the last couple of years, so we'll see how the Ridges goes. They were very excited to get our business this year, so I think they're going to bend over backwards for us, just kind of talking about some of the ideas that they would like to incorporate and support the Foundation's golf outing. So
Bust out your bell bottoms.
bust out the bell bottoms, yep. We're going to have costume contests, so start looking at Goodwill. Yeah, Greg's outfitted his whole family last year to go on the theme, right? He knows the good spots. If you want to go to the next.
Sure. The other thing we're working on in conjunction with marketing is a logo specific to the foundation. So right now, we have the regular logo, and then it says Foundation and Alumni underneath it. And we want one that calls out Foundation and Alumni a little bit more, looks a little bit different. Right now, the board has virtually voted on several different options, and now we're going to narrow those down to 3 and say, this is your choice, 1 vote per member. Which do you want? So they're all perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very engaging logos, but watch for that coming soon, that the foundation would have a little different logo than the college. And it's really common across the system, I'd say.
Yeah,
more
about
than
half and half. Yeah.
We've also been working on a lot of technology enhancements. So we talk about anthology and how that's going. The foundation has a small part in that they're just starting. But they'll be getting deeper in because their software will be going to Anthology as well. But we also have a new stewardship portal that we're working on, and some event planning software that is not only going to help us plan our events, but basically anytime we want to take money or communicate with people, it will be a great help. So we're kind of working on getting those, primarily those last 2 things up and running, and then we'll be getting deeper and deeper into Anthology as time goes on.
We're purchasing these packages, all of them, I would say. Between Anthology, we also purchased Raisin and Compass, which are going to be kind of some database systems for us. This is all creating efficiencies. Seeing it's just, well, me part-time and then Nikki full-time, this is creating a lot of efficiencies in our office on communications, on donor engagement, setting up events. This is all to streamline a lot of different things. And so we think we're very excited, and I think we'll see some good results as far as implementing these different software packages.
The other thing we've been working on, we present to Shelley on Wednesday, is our 3-year alumni plan. So she can edit and do what she needs to with that, and then we'll have our 3-year alumni plan, something on paper solid that this is what we're doing. We're very excited about that.
Yeah. Okay, should I do the last one?
Sure.
Okay, the last one's
the big one.
Did you announce this already or no?
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't want to steal someone else's
I don't know
thunder.
exactly what you're going to say, but I don't think I did. So go. I trust you.
So this year we announced our Alumni of the
Oh,
Year.
yeah. No, it's on my report, so you go. You tell
Oh, are
the
you
great-
sure?
No, absolutely.
we can save
This is
it.
great news. You should tell it.
So we had our Mid-State Alumni of the Year was Chet Laskowski. You probably met him at the graduation because he gave one of the speeches there. Angie just found out like last week that he is also the district board's Alumni of the Year.
Cool. Nice.
That means I think we've had 3 of the last 6.
Yeah, so on our wall there, we're going to have 3 out of the 6. And when I look back, I think it was since 2000, I'm trying to remember, there's been 5 in the history of that we've had.
Fairly recent history.
Fairly recent history, so that's pretty impressive because that's a lot for any college to have. I think the next closest one was 3. So, well, that shows our alumni are very engaged with the college, which is wonderful. So I think having a plan around how to further engage with alumni will be great.
And he will actually be recognized up at Nicolay this week, so we're excited. And Chet is able to, even with the short notice, he's able to come.
Good.
So we're really excited to have him be honored for that great award.
Any questions for us? Betty, what do you have to add? Anything?
Yeah.
Well, other than that, you have a retirement
Oh,
on your
yes.
board. Our longtime
Marge?
Marge
Okay.
is retiring.
Okay.
Marge Coker Nelson is retiring. So it'll be different. So I think she's already finished, but she said
How many
she will-
years on the board? It's quite a few, isn't
All
it?
45.
What?
No, she wasn't quite that, but she's
No.
been on
Long
there a long
time.
time.
2025.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Been a long time, so
Okay.
she did say she'll participate with the foundation event for the golf outing, so hopefully we'll see that.
She has provided such great insight. Yes, she will be missed. It's,
Well, she is an emeritus. She did
Yes.
accept emeritus, so
Yes.
she will be invited to all of our meetings. She will continue to be in regular communication, so that's wonderful to keep her engaged. Bittersweet, but totally understand she needs to take a step back. She does a lot.
That's all I have.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good update.
President's report, Shelley.
Okay, yes, under campus activities, just 3 things I wanted to mention is, you know that we work very hard on our college accreditation, and you know that we also have a number of programs that go through accreditation. And we had reviewers on site March 5th to have our diesel program go through to be accredited through ASE. And I can tell you the preliminary reviewer, or the preliminary information that we received was very favorable. We will get written notice within the next 60 days. So we're excited about that because our auto program is already ASE accredited, but we've never gone for our diesel program. And when we were doing our pre-work, I thought this would just be good for you to know, they will be having their 50th anniversary of the diesel program here in 2027. Chris and I found that out as we were, preparing for the visit. So really, diesel is one of our longest programs that we've had. So, and Scott and Chris did an absolute wonderful job. So I'm very much hopeful for that initial accreditation. Also, Chris held an amazing meeting on March 5th with our dental industry because, as you know, Governor Evers had signed that we could, as colleges, receive $1 million to be able to advance what we're doing in oral health training. You know that through partnership, we started a dental assistant program. The hope would be that we could use this $1 million to be able to offer dental hygiene. But we wanted to really have an industry meeting to validate that need, and because we as a college are going to need to make that a priority because it's very costly. Yes, we have $1 million, but that will that's only about a half of the remodeling that, we will need to do and so forth. So with the equipment, it's like, is this really what we need to do? And I can tell you that it is what we need to do. And I believe possibly, Ari, you're gonna talk about that, you approving, but we wanna move forward with dental hygiene. That very much is what we feel we need to do. We are looking at doing that probably here at our Wisconsin Rapids campus. We had to submit a plan to our state office actually on Friday to say, do we want to accept the $1 million or do we not? We are saying, yes, we want to accept this, and yes, we're hoping that our board will approve us moving forward with the dental hygiene program. So I hope that you will support that this evening. We just feel that we can't leave that $1 million on the table. We'll never get $1 million to be able to start a program of this great need that we have in the state of Wisconsin, but also in our district. We heard from a number of our dental partners that came to that industry meeting how, again, the workforce for dental hygienists, they are aging. And there's just not enough to be able to support what is needed. There's also a huge demand, as you know, for dentists, which is something that unfortunately we are not in the purview to help with, but just talked a lot about the dental industry. Third piece under campus activities would be you have your traditional meta updates. So just to point those out to you. The Findorf job trailer has been removed. So that means that we are in these final stages. We have a meeting coming up for the punch list. The faculty have already gone through and done their evaluation. Staff and administration will be doing that as well. We are really on task to get those keys by May 1st. July 22nd, we don't have a time yet for you, but it does appear that July 22nd is going to be the ribbon cutting day. Hopefully that is a day that you all recall, because we've done a lot on July 22nd. We started this campaign on July 22nd. We hit our, there's just been so many milestones, July 22nd. So we wanted to carry that through. July 22nd is on a Monday, so. Under community involvement, again, Mickey was able to share the good news about Chet, and just so proud to have that distinction. On March 6th, I attended the Heart of Wisconsin Chamber Dinner with fellow Midstate staff and Terry and Rick from our board. Thank you, it was really a nice night. Last week, Betty, you had mentioned we had our annual farm tour for the district. We had 139 people registered and had 150 people show up. So, and today, if you're walking around campus, we have a big event here tomorrow. We're so excited. We are holding an FFA competition. We have 748 students that are registered that are representing 43 different FFA chapters in Wisconsin. Last year, we held this event, we did it at our Marshville campus, and we had 443. So that tells you what a great job we have done to have it increased. But that's why we needed to move to our Wisconsin Rapids campus. We have over 100 volunteers and staff that are going to be helping with this event. And Chuck and I, when we're walking the hall, you're going to see things like plant judging and meat evaluation. And so just for us to be prepared for that event. So just thank you, everybody, because the staff have done an amazing job. You know we do a lot with Skills USA. You know we do a lot with DECA. But now, again, FFA, we're so proud because it really promotes our agricultural area. Just wanted to also mention from a community standpoint, one of our, Craig, the Wisconsin Rapids School District Superintendent, has announced his departure from this area. We're very saddened. Craig has been a great partner to Midstate, and I just wanted to be able to recognize him. When it came to trying some things new with Midstate, he has always supported us. And if you recall from our K through 12 report out, our report card, or college dashboard, you've seen a huge transition rate of students coming directly from Lincoln High School to Midstate. So we're going to miss him, but we wish him the very, very best. Also, on our EDA grant, you're going to hear some information from the Finance Committee that the EDA came back and needed some additional information, and you're going to hopefully take some action today. We feel that we're in a really good spot to maybe receive some really, really good news about this funding, which again would be used to expand our Adams campus. So exciting. We're hoping to hear by mid-April. And then also the LEAD Center, you heard Mickey talk about that. We also had the Portage County Business Council, which is really that chamber over in Portage County, had their PCBC after hours at our new LEAD Center. Oh my gosh, tons of people, which we wanted to have that exposure to let people know that we have this beautiful space. And again, we're having the scheduled ribbon cutting, which is April Fool's Day. Definitely, we don't want to be a fool that day, but we're so excited about really saying, yep, we're officially open. For WTCS updates, there's been a lot. Dr. Morna Foy, our system president, we were very sad to hear her announcement that she is retiring. She will be greatly missed. She has been in our system for quite some time. A search committee has been established. Also, WTCS State Board is happening tomorrow and Wednesday. I will be attending virtually. It is at Moraine Park. There are 2 items that we are especially watching. We are very hopeful that our Wood County Sheriff, Sean Becker, will be officially appointed to our board tomorrow as the elected official, and that is for a 3-year term. And then also the WTCS, all of the general purpose grants that we write for, this is the day when we get to see what gets approved. Now I can tell you we peaked because we got the agenda last week. And not to steal Mickey's thunder, but I think next month you're going to hear that every grant that we wrote for, we are getting funded. Wow. So a kudos to that team and Bobby's leadership. I mean, just, but I think, again, you've heard us talk about the Cougar Cage and bringing our people across the college together to brainstorm. It's working for us. It's really working for us. So I'm hearing really good numbers there. For Presidential Association activities, just a couple things. I believe I mentioned this last month that I was really happy to host a Presidential Association retreat here where we had 12 of the 16 presidents on campus on March 4th. We talked about focused areas for the new year, which would be around, lobby and legislation. We talked about artificial intelligence, talked about those topics at a high level of things that we need to pay attention to. So it was really a great meeting. Always nice to have presidents here. Love when they're taking pictures of things. It's the same thing that I do when I travel as well. And then on March 8th, I was asked to be on the WTCS President's Panel for the Wisconsin Leadership Development Institute. There were 2 presidents that had been asked to really discuss leadership topics, kind of talking about my own leadership journey and things that I've learned along the way. And so it was myself and then Sunam, who is the president over at CVTC. So I felt really honored to be able to be asked to represent Midstate. And then in closing, I can't end my report without calling out Dr. Bobby Damrow. And she's done so much for Midstate and so much for our communities. I could take the next 2 hours and we could talk about all of Bobby's involvement. And she has led with passion and care. And we're going to miss her, but she has an opportunity that she just needs to, I don't know why, but no, she needs to take, and we know why. Because she's going to be the new CEO of the Culinary Training Academy of Las Vegas. And we're so happy for Bobby. But she's going to be so missed. And we know she's going to continue to do great things, but I know she will be a forever friend to Midstate. I very much believe that. Her last day, unfortunately, is April 4th, which has had all of ELT come together with Bobby. We have worked out an exit plan and transition. Our plans right now are not to replace that position. We say whenever a position comes open, we take some time, right? And we just want to evaluate to see how we need to move forward. And we're going to do the same with this. And I just want to thank the rest of the vice presidents who are all taking on a little bit more with myself to be able to do that. I've worked with Bobby for a long time, and we wish you the best, Bobby. So. That would end my report.
And now we'll have somebody else to look up when we're in Vegas, right?
Thank you for delaying taking advantage of this opportunity until the Yumeta Center was
Yeah,
awesome.
till the trailer was gone, right?
And I don't know, Bobby, if you wanted to say anything.
Well, yes, just thank you for always supporting us and the innovation. I think on behalf of all of us, this is just giving me an opportunity to say that we can't do what we do without strong boards and people willing to kind of see our vision and sometimes take a little bit of a risk. Yumeta was a risk and some of the other things. And just thank you. And the same to President Monday. Just thank you for the trust. Great things are coming. Can't wait to come back to see the ribbon cutting.
It's not that long, not that far away. Chris, it's not that far away. We're ready. That would end my report.
Okay. On to committee reports, finance and infrastructure. Chuck?
Yep, I'll be sitting in for Cody tonight. We've already talked about the consent agenda items, so we'll move on to budget notifications for the month on page 26. Budget notifications for February facilitate changes related to grants, both operational and capital. These changes affect both revenue and expense budgets by $60,000, so the bottom line doesn't change there. On page 27 is the budgeted revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund equity reflecting the changes in the budget notifications on page prior. And then if you move to page 28, the accrued revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund equity, it portrays the interim changes in fund equity in all the accounts at month end. For the 8 months ending February 29th, the general fund accrued revenues exceeded accrued expenses by $9,951,798, reflecting the differences due to timing of revenue inflows and expenditure outflows. The total expenditures for the general fund are now at 59%, below the 8-month completion rate of 66.7%. And the Fund 1 operational related that we have more control over was even further below that figure. As of February 29th, year-to-date revenues for all funds total $60.5 million. To date, 84.9% of the current revenue budget has been recognized or realized. We just got the tax revenue last day of February, leap day. As of February 29th, the year-to-date expenditure for all funds total $55.3 million. To date, this represents 65.3% of the expenditures. On the next page, combined balance sheet, cash and investments for the month end totaled $31.2 million. Any questions on the financial report?
In terms of investments, what do I want to say? What's our average return on our investments now?
About 5%.
Okay, yeah,
It's invested at the local government pool,
yeah,
and right around 5%. It's been averaging that for about 5.5, 6 months now.
okay, good. Thank you.
We had one action item, as Dr. Meinbeck mentioned. We have a resolution that we were asked to prepare in the event we are awarded the grant, which is a good sign that we're being asked for that. So the grant application for the expansion of the Adams campus, providing a science lab to support additional health, public safety, and liberal arts programming, along with the creation of a classroom and manufacturing lab, creating a pathway to the new Ameta Center, was found to have merit by the Economic Development Administration, EDA, and is now being considered for an Economic Adjustment Assistance, EAA grant. The grant application for $1,772,958, and if awarded, requires an equal match commitment from the college. Funding of this match was discussed in our committee meeting. The resolution located in your packet is being brought forward. Trying to find the page here.
20,
Yeah.
30 and 31.
31. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's there for your review. I believe Greg said that we're prepared to, was it $2 million that we're, or just I thought you mentioned 2 million in our committee meeting.
It's a $2 million grant, but right now we only have 1.7.
Okay, okay.
1.7,
So the resolution is for us to match $1.772,
correct.
$951,000. I'd make a motion that we approve this, and after a second, then we can discuss.
Yeah,
Second.
Okay, thank you.
okay, we have a motion and a second
Yeah,
discussion.
so we've talked about several things happening with our capital budget. We've
Yep.
got this grant, we've got
The oral health,
the oral health, and
just increasing cost of things from instructional equipment, steel, and so forth. So we had talked about possibly needing to increase our capital budget borrowing.
yeah, we talked about that before, but it also requires savings in other places. We can't do as much in other areas. And I assume,
There will be some decisions that, yes, as we continue to grow, there will be things that need to be suspended. We definitely are becoming a college that we have to continue to be fiscally strong, which all colleges are facing this right now, that as we see that there's a higher priority, we need to be able to let some other services or programs go. And that will be hard, as a college, but they will be necessary. So you will see as we continue to suspend some programming, we've been very deliberate trying to make sure we're suspending where people are not involved. But we know as time goes on, there will be a time because of low enrollment or low interest in a program, or again, that need is changing, we'll have to let some other programs going. We know that dental is a priority, as we've seen it. There's money coming from the state to say you need to do this. So that does mean, how is that going to affect maybe a program right now that only has 4 students? And if that program has only had 4 students for the last few years, we can't continue that anymore. And so you as a board will hear those things, as we move forward. There's not a program directly coming to you tomorrow. It's some things that we're hoping during our board advance, we want to educate you on how we as administration make those decisions so you can then have confidence that we're doing the right things. But, there will be decisions as we move forward. You heard a little bit about some other decisions that the state office may make on adult education, and you heard that will have a 70 FTE impact to our college. We get our state funding based on that. So that's just another example of how we have to continue to relook, resize. The Adams expansion is necessary. The oral health is necessary, but with increased costs and inflation, borrowing $6 million anymore, it just does not work. And so I believe Chuck had talked about maybe, I had brought to him through committee with Greg that we were looking at maybe 7 million. With this oral health, it looking like it's going to be 7.5. But again, you're probably going to see a capital budget of 10 million, but that extra 2.5 is all coming from different funding sources, which is wonderful. But we have a lot going on, like any other college. If you talk to your peers, I think they will all, they're all trying to figure out what's that right mix for their college. It's not becoming as much that we can do everything anymore. We have to be able to make some harder decisions.
Thank you. And also, I don't know if it was last month or the month before, but we talked about expected debt service and the impact that it's going to have on our constituents' tax dollars, property taxes. And we're doing very good there. It's holding the line or even a little bit lower than it was. So we're doing good in terms of being able to meet new needs and not whack the property owners with a big increase. So
And that is
it's a
what-
responsible move.
I'm so glad, Chuck, you brought this up, and it's just wonderful, like when you heard, if we are successful in our WTCS general purpose, that gives us ability to continue to grow, have some funding for 1 or 2 years, allows us to make a different decision maybe in another area. You want to have those grants being strong when you're continuing to try to right size. You've heard me say, even when we talk about next year's college dashboard, what is that good number for mid-state from an enrollment standpoint? When I came, we were at 6,500. Now you saw we're at 8,300. Are we, is 8,000 where we should be? Is it, I don't know. And so we're trying to figure that out post-COVID, but it's going to be the same thing. Is it still good to have 60 programs? Maybe it's going to be 53. That's what we're tasked to do every day, to really look at all those things. But I just appreciate that you as a board having that understanding, and I think you would want us to continue to refresh. Probably that program that only has a lower number, it probably can't be maintained, going forward.
Sustainable,
Yes, and I think as we continue to get more legislative updates, which are going to say you need to be doing this, that's going to drive us in certain directions as well. So, thank you.
If there are no other questions or comments, call the question.
Got a roll call?
Terry Whitmore,
Yes.
Ryan Zietlow,
Yes.
Ari Vang,
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik,
Yes.
Charles Spargo,
Yes.
Richard Murden.
Yes.
Thank you.
That concludes our Finance and Infrastructure Committee report.
Okay, Academic and Student Services Committee, Ari?
Okay. So I have a long list today. Thanks to Chris. I'm just kidding. A lot of good stuff today. So there are going to be 4 agenda items that I will be posting up for approval for this board. So I will go to each one of them. I think one of them, this first one, Dr. Mandyke has already talked about, and it is seeking both concept, first I'm going to do approval for concept and then the program, so it's going to go hand in hand. But concept and a program approval for the dental hygienist program. Midstate reached out via survey and had 14 unique employers respond, validating the need for a dental hygienist program. In addition, on March 5th, 2024, we hosted a variety of stakeholders on the Wisconsin Rapids campus to hear their feedback for pursuing an additional oral health program. The attendees also validated the need. So Midstate will use the $1.264 million of the oral health grant funding signed into bill in January by Governor Evers to offset costs for building an oral health space in Wisconsin Rapids. In addition, we would use this funding to pursue the required Commission on Dental Accreditation, or the CODA or CODA program accreditation, and develop curriculum. Midstate is planning to hire a dental hygienist program director or faculty member beginning next fiscal year. We also have a plan to use the next 2 years' capital budgets to complete the renovation and purchase of the needed equipment to complete the oral health lab and launch the dental hygienist program. Midstate is exploring additional funding sources to support launching the program, as this $1.264 million will cover only half of what the needs are in terms of equipment, getting equipment and curriculum and so forth.
May I offer, Ari?
Yes.
You had heard me say $1 million. The reason Ari is saying 1.2 is we know of 2 colleges that are passing on the $1 million. So we have asked for that money to be redistributed among the colleges that need it. And so the state office has approved that. We do know that Nicolay is passing, and we know that Moraine Park is passing. Part of the reason Moraine Park is passing is because they just passed the referendum. And so they have some other costs and things associated with that. And I'm not quite sure exactly why Nicolay's passing, but we've asked for that money to be yes. So that I just wanted to explain why that difference.
Thank you. The dental hygienist program has a state-aligned curriculum, and our program will be a 69 to 71 credit associate degree program. Midstate plans to have the dental hygienist program begin in summer of 2026. We're looking at about 15 chair space in this, what was it, 6,000 square foot? Yeah, approximately 6,000 square foot of renovation in this building here, or this campus. So I know Chris and I talked about one way of doing it, but I think I'm going to do it this way, Chris, if you don't mind, to do it one after another, or one after I'm speaking it, doing it as I speak, instead of all at once at the end. So looking to seek motion to approve concept for the dental hygienist
So move.
program.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Angie, roll call?
Terry Whitmore,
Yes.
Ryan Zietlow,
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik,
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Ari Vang,
Yes.
Richard Murden.
Yes.
Okay, and then following that, seeking program approval for dental hygienist program.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, Angie?
Terry Whitmore,
Yes.
Ryan Zietlow,
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik,
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Ari Vang,
Yes.
Richard Murden.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next is the Human Resource Program approval. We are seeking Midstate's board program approval for Human Resource Associate degree. Our current HR Assistant Technical Diploma will fully ladder into the HR Associate degree, a 60-credit degree program. This program will use existing full and part-time faculty and does not have any related equipment expenditures. Funds for curriculum development have been allocated to develop 2 new classes, compensation and benefits, and recruiting and hiring. The remaining curriculum will be a mix of relevant courses from business management and leadership. The WTCS provided concept approval on 1/16/24, so pending today's approval, Midstate plans to have this program begin in fall of 2024. And I believe Ryan and Betty had confirmed that the part of the listening sessions back in September or early January, I think, in Stevens Point, somebody did mention about having more specific comp and benefits courses for HR. So this goes right in line to that. So seeking the board's approval for the Human Resource Associate Degree Program.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Discussion? Roll call, Angie?
Ryan Zietlow,
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik,
Yes.
Charles Spargo,
Yes.
Ari Vang,
Yes.
Terry Whitmore,
Yes.
Richard Murden.
Yes.
Okay. Lastly, is our radiography shared program radiography, am I saying that right? Radiography program. I did say it right the first time, from North Center Technical College. So the demand for trained radiography technicians in our district has been made evident through conversations with local healthcare providers or employers. The clinical spots for radiography are tightly regulated by the number of machines in the area. Currently, our geographic area of accreditation by the Joint Review Committee on Education Radiologic Technology overlaps with NTC. So if we were to add our own program, we would not add to the number of trained radiography technicians in the field. So according to the WTCS program performance dashboard, there has been about 50 mid-state district students that have enrolled into NTC's program since 2019. So NTC is a willing partner with us to share the radiography associate degree program. And Midstate will provide general education and pre-program courses to students who apply, and then NTC will hold a designated number of spots for students completing their gen eds and pre-program courses at Midstate. These students will also receive priority options for clinical rotations within the Midstate district. There are no expected additional costs to the college to offer this program with NTC. So if approval by the board tonight, Midstate plans to have this shared program begin in fall of 2025.
Fall of 2025.
Right.
Okay.
I so move for the approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second discussion. So what is this? What is this occupation? What do they do?
So it's X-ray technicians.
Yep.
It's radiography. So we had, Ari did a great job. So we had health professionals that reached out to Chris and I and talked about, gosh, we know that we need more X-ray technicians in our district. And when they're being trained out of district, they're not coming back to our district. So of course, we sit down and we had a number of meetings with them. And we really noticed, because of their program accreditation, if we started a program, since we have a neighboring college that already has a great program, that we really could not increase the number of graduates in our area. They would just have to, we would say, gosh, if you're a healthcare organization in our area, you're now going to take a mid-state student, which would only reduce their numbers because they're using our sites because we don't have a program. Well, that's not going to help our healthcare partners. So we were like, what can we do? And we really, as we talked, it said, we really got to the conclusion that I think if we could just say, Midstate is sharing this radiography program, there are people in our district that would want to come to Midstate. And then we would just have so many spots in the NTC program. So the people that are in our region will be trained through this mutual partnership, and then hopefully they will be hired within our district, rather than people having to go out of district, not having any connection with Midstate at all. I think this is a great example of, it does not make sense for us to start a radiology program. The equipment is so expensive, but we want to serve our district. And so I'm really proud of what Chris came up with Aspirus and the other healthcare partners. And I think it's going to be a great thing. They are thrilled that we are doing this. But there was a lot of work that happened because, again, if we started a program, they would have to reduce their numbers. And ultimately, we're trying to get more graduates for our central Wisconsin region. And so very happy with how this is. It's a good partnership.
I like the idea of us starting people here and funneling them there, and then
Yes.
hopefully they come back, but how is that going to get more?
Well, you won't have
More for this area.
More for this
Okay,
area.
okay.
The
Yep.
proportion that ends up north
Back here.
versus here,
Okay.
you know?
Yep.
Okay,
More for workforce for our district.
okay.
Good question. But I think, you'll hear some of these things. We're being creative. I think you can see with what we're doing, and I think Chris is doing a really great job of how do we meet the need, working with Mandy on, and it's not always about starting our own program. This is a great example. It's not about that.
Are there any other shared programs?
We had
So That's how
pharmacy.
we launched our university transfer program. We partnered with Nicolay, and for 3 or 4 years, students took so many credits here, they finished their program at Nicolay. We had a shared court reporting program with Lakeshore in the past, so it's not something that we're unfamiliar with. I think this is a prime example. Just to add on to what Shelley shared, I think part of this partnership with North Central, because they're already using healthcare clinical locations that are in Mid-State's district, while they can't guarantee that a Mid-State district student is always going to be located at this clinical site, the intent behind our shared program is that they will serve their clinical within a mid-state district geography, so that they're familiar with one of our employers. They then hopefully can get hired with that employer, and that's what's gonna help retain them to work in our district as well. So yes, they will have to go to NTC for their program classes, but hopefully those clinical classes they'll be able to take at Riverview or in Stevens Point. And
Adams,
Adams.
you know, the X-ray technicians are everywhere. And they also have a huge need in radiography for CT, MRI. But they very much said if we could start with that basic first, and then we'll go further. But right now, it'll be the basic, so it's gonna be a great partnership.
Roll call, Angie?
Betty Brusky Malik.
Yes.
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Ari Vang.
Yes.
Terry Whitmore.
Yes.
Ryan Zietlow.
Yes.
Richard Murden.
Yes.
Okay, that's all on my desk.
Thank you.
A lot.
A lot of movement there. Next is the Human Resources and External Relations Committee. We didn't have any consent agenda items. We had one informational item, and that was the college-wide in-service recap. And you have pictures at your spots of a couple of the pictures from the event. Can anybody identify the person in the middle on the bottom? None of the mid-state people. The person in the middle on the bottom, give you a clue. He was a Badger, and then he was a Packer. Jared Aberderis
Oh, sure.
was the halftime show guest at the in-service. Because, we've seen the football analogy for the anthology program. So that was the halftime special. So they had Jared there, and apparently Brad was the NBC color commentator or something,
It was awesome.
asking questions and stuff and trying to relate the project, tackling or opportunities versus the anthology opportunities. You know, what type of adversity do you have in football that's analogous to this project, in terms of, what do we call it? In terms of setbacks, fear, adversity, teamwork. So kind of, correlating. So I thought that was a very neat way to do that. And some very impressive numbers from the in-service. It was done very much to engage the employees instead of a sit and listen. And there was a 95.2% engagement rating for the in-service.
Wow.
And then,
That's huge.
and even above that, the overall satisfaction for the whole program, which included Shelley's part in terms of recognizing the new employees, anniversaries, milestones, so giving the employee appreciation. They had 5 engagement breakouts, which included, and it all focused on the student services department. The 5 breakout areas were enrollment team, academic advising, the student support center, textbooks, testing, disability services, and recruitment admissions. And one of the comments there from the evaluation was this was probably the best overview of a team area that I can recall in quite some time. So very good, very good. And then the overall satisfaction for the whole in-service was 99.3%.
Whoa.
Wow.
There was one person
person
who
in a
could
bad
not be
mood.
satisfied.
One person in a bad mood.
But that's incredible, and we talked about how that satisfaction is asymptotic. It's logarithmic, as you get towards that 100%. So somebody commented, how could you make this better? Well, if there was AC/DC and Jordan Love. No, but
You're gonna really
tremendous.
have to work next time to outdo yourself.
Tremendous work and tremendous results from the in-service. So thanks to all involved with that. a wonderful show of appreciation and engagement with the employees. Wonderful. That's all that we have for that. Earlier this evening, we had a committee of the whole update by Mandy Lang, and some of the key areas there. There are multiple new Department of Education regulations that go into effect starting July 1st of this year. These include the FAFSA simplification changes, gainful employment reporting, which basically looks at how much did it cost for your education and how are you benefiting from that education, and looking at those ratios. Change in transcript and withholding, change in number of hours allowed for state licensure programs, distance education, state licensure requirements, career services requirements, and improvements to financial aid, counseling, and communications. So just a tremendous amount going on in that regard. And from a national perspective, the fiasco with the FAFSA implementation is just really crippling the entire education system right now. So thanks for that great update on that. And now we have discussion and action. Chris, you're going to share with us the strategic plan.
Okay, we have just a few slides to share out. As many of you know, our current strategic plan ends June 30th of 2025. So Midstate is absolutely focused on our next strategic plan. So what we want to do is just give you an update in terms of the progress that we've made thus far in collecting data and moving some of that and analyzing that data and moving that forward. Next slide, please, Angie. Okay. So how are we structured and how are we getting all of the work done? We've really broken this up into two separate teams. We have our strategic plan core team, which encompasses executive leaders, some academic leaders, and folks from our institutional effectiveness team, along with a faculty member. And this group has been meeting monthly since early fall in terms of developing strategies and ensuring execution and completion, as well as reporting out to key stakeholders regarding the next strategic plan. Our second committee encompasses the strategic plan, 30 plus individuals, and this is a cross-functional group that's made up of managers, non-managers, faculty, staff, as well as students. And this group has met in fall, as well as has met this spring, really to provide feedback, to brainstorm, as well as assist with communication, as well as gathering feedback. So this is really a support arm for developing our next strategic plan. Next slide, Angie. So what have we gotten accomplished? And really a lot of this data and information that we're collecting that will inform our next strategic plan started with Shelley's one-on-ones. So I think every 5 years, Shelley, you do one-on-ones with every Midstate full-time employee. And this was completed in March of 2023 and really provided data and feedback to inform this next 5 years. In early fall, institutional effectiveness began an environmental scan. And when we use the phrase environmental scan, it's a means to collect data. So whether it's looking at research, looking at our partner colleges, gathering local demographic data, just looking at a variety of ways that we can provide service to our communities, our students, and our employers. That's what we mean by trying to gather an environmental scan. We look at both internal and external sources to do this, as well as we took advantage of other key sources to assist with this environmental scan, and that's what we've listed there. So campus advisory meetings in fall as well as in January. Many of you, thank you for participating in those campus advisory meetings. That really kicked off more of our formalized way to reach out and ask folks to participate in our strategic plan survey, as well as look at all of our existing pillars, and are we hitting the mark in reaching those existing pillars? We also look at different types of student surveys. So our and I'm going to read this here. Our survey of entering student engagement, which is the SENSE student survey, as well as the Community College Survey of Student Engagement, the CESI survey, are surveys that we're using to inform our environmental scan. And then finally, our mindset survey, which is our employee-based survey. We use that to inform and gather data as well. So what are we doing with all of this information? We're taking all this information as well as trying to develop a strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat chart. So we did this informally. At every campus, we put up posters and had some leading questions that would allow folks to generate some ideas of things that are working well, things that can be improved upon. And we let those sit out for a couple of weeks at each campus. And then we pulled all that data together and we handed that over to Sheila Culver and our institutional effectiveness group and really put this into a method in which we can really analyze the data and gather themes from that data. And then with that data, we held formal campus SWOT activities where both our strategic plan committee that's based of 30 plus individuals, a cross-functional group. We looked at all of this data as well as all of the environmental scan information and all of the themes. And then we went through an exercise of strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats with all of that data.
For each campus?
For each campus. In addition to the strategic plan committee, we also did that in a more consolidated group that really was what we call a campus SWOT. So we had the campus dean along with some key members from that campus area really hone in on, in addition to the strategic plan committee, we had another group go through a specific campus SWOT that we were able to gather some more information. So these are just some general ways that we're looking to look at the data, looking to gather data, looking to inform that next 5-year strategic plan.
And this is very similar to what we had done when we set our 2020 to 2025. So we're kind of going at it the same way, but we learned some things the first time. So it's, Chuck, when you asked that question, Heather participated in the one since Lori had retired. And in Adams, I think all of us were shaking our head. Heather brought a whole perspective that even where she lives, who's our main office manager down there, she doesn't have internet at her own home. So we should not be surprised that online learning in Adams does not work as well. So there was just, very specific differences, again, that we saw from campus to campus. And I think, again, that's what has really set Midstate apart, is because we've looked at that uniqueness and then tried to be able to put good solutions for each area. But that was just an aha, I think, for all of us there, that it was that still broadband not being, so not there, the access of it.
Over the course of 2 days, we spent a half a day on a Thursday and a Friday and conducted a formal facilitated campus SWOT activity. It was great.
Like we had, for Wisconsin Rapids, since I mentioned the superintendent retiring, that's a threat to our Wisconsin Rapids campus. So we talk about that. And so again, not only as a college, but individual, just really, really good. Yeah. But yet, opportunity, you could probably guess, in Stephen's point, is our lead center. It's our meta center, right? So really good conversations.
Next slide, Angie. Thank you. Okay, so in addition to these variety of ways that we're gathering data, we also developed and deployed that strategic plan survey. So it encompasses 15 questions that really help validate our mission, vision, core values, as well as our strategic directions. And then we added on 3 unique questions at the end that helped focus us on strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You can see listed here, we captured our stakeholder groups and we sent out unique strategic plan surveys. So for board members that were able to participate in the campus advisory meetings, you would have seen we left time at those campus advisory meetings to fulfill that completion of that survey, as well as you would have received an email from Angie regarding a request to fill out the survey if you hadn't had an opportunity yet to fill out that survey. So, I would encourage you, if you haven't had the opportunity, we'd love for you to take about 10, 15 minutes and fill that survey out as a board member. We're very much on track. The last time we went through this exercise, we had approximately 540 or so respondents to the strategic plan survey. And with about a week and a half left, we have 473 responses thus far. So I feel like we're definitely on track. We'll send out a reminder email to these key stakeholder groups if they haven't had an opportunity, if they could take the 10 to 15 minutes to finish the survey, we would very much appreciate that. So the surveys close Friday, March 29th. Like I said, we'll send out a final reminder on that survey coming up next week. And then the last slide, Angie. Okay, so after March 29th, that's really our go time to kind of say, okay, we've collected a ton of information. We've gathered feedback via surveys, student surveys, as well as the strategic plan surveys. And now we really want to hone in and do a deep dive and generate all of the themes. So we've adopted what you see up there as kind of a STEEP analysis process. And really STEEP stands for social, technological, economic, environmental, and political. So it's just a format in which we look at different data within that category to really evaluate and theme out what that next 5-year strategic plan can look like. So our committee, our 30-plus group committee, will meet at the very end of April. We have 3 different dates set aside to really review survey results. We're going to conduct that STEEP analysis and identify final themes, and then provide any recommendations. Are we affirming our mission, vision, values, and existing pillars, or will new pillars evolve based on the feedback that we've collected?
Hopefully, when you think of pillars right now, you've seen our visual of that wheel. So our programs and our K through 12, our workforce continuing ed in the district were the 5 pillars that we saw as opportunities for this last strategic plan.
So what are those pillars for 2025 to?
30. Many years
Oh,
out.
wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a
2025 to 2030.
2030. I'm sorry.
Well, you put a lot of time into this. You don't have to do it too often, so that big range.
We can't do this again.
We're not going to do this again.
Right. So we do intend to bring back the really all of the analysis of this data. We'll bring this back to you in early summer, as well as in fall. We will certainly share out with you what that 2025 to 2030 strategic plan will entail. We'll share that also with the college, and along with that, we'll evolve kind of visuals, our communication plan, and so forth. So we'll be well ahead of that June, the end of June 2025, in preparation for our next and launching our next 5-year strategic plan.
Because our HLC reviewers are coming for our 10-year accreditation in April of 2025. So we are hopeful that when they come, we will have this launched to our college at February in service. Everybody will know about it. It will be fresh, and away we go. That is the plan. They have put together a great timeline. But it's a lot. It's a lot.
So the goal of this was just to share with you an update regarding
you.
all the efforts that are being made for the strategic
Coming
plan.
together.
Thank you.
And with that, I would entertain a motion to move into a closed session.
So moved.
There's a motion and a second. Angie?
Charles Spargo.
Yes.
Ari Vang.
Yes.
Terry Whitmore.
Yes.
Ryan Zietlow.
Yes.
Betty Brusky Malik. Richard Murden.
Yes. Okay, we had a motion and approval to come back out of closed session into open session. And so during closed session, we had a discussion regarding feasibility study, but no action was taken. With that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any objection? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.